days after Honduras's military sent him into exile, President Zelaya got the unanimous backing of the United Nations and the Organization of American States for his reinstatement.
I am going to fulfill my 4 years. I am going to fight to have the 4 years respected.
The OAS has given Honduras 3 days to restore Mr. Zelaya or face expulsion from the body. OAS Secretary General Miguel Souza and several Latin American leaders have pledged to accompany the ousted leader on a return trip home. Governments throughout the hemisphere and much of the world have also demanded his reinstatement. But Honduras's interim government remains defiant, warning that Mr. Zelaya faces arrest if he sets foot in the country. Interim President Roberto Micheletti says Mr. Zelaya forfeited his right to govern by insisting on a referendum that Honduras's Supreme Court had declared illegal.
May this be an example that no man or woman who reaches the presidency of the Republic can think himself above the law.
Recent days have seen both pro- and anti-Zelaya demonstrations in Honduras, one of the smallest and poorest nations in Latin America. Whatever domestic support the interim government may enjoy, it will be hard-pressed to defy the international community's will, says Peter Hakem of Washington's Inter-American Dialogue.
Honduras is one of the weakest, most vulnerable countries in the region. It's a small country. Depends very heavily on U.S. Economic relationship. Very difficult to resist this kind of pressure.
But former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs Roger Noriega is not so sure, saying President Zelaya has been discredited in his own country.
He's gone against all of those institutions, and frankly, they don't want him back. It remains to be seen whether Zelaya will be restored to power. The U.S. And all of these other countries may have enough muscle to do that. I have serious doubts about that.
Others note that Latin American nations have traditionally been loath to interfere in the internal affairs of their neighbors, and President Obama, while declaring the coup illegal, has not moved to cut off U.S. aid to Honduras. At the recent Summit of the Americas in Trinidad, Mr. Obama pledged cooperation and consultation rather than confrontation. Peter Hakem says this is a departure from the way the U.S. has treated Honduras and other Latin American countries in the past.
Clearly, in a place like Honduras, the U.S. did sort of often bully its way around. If you want to use that kind of pressure, that's a kind of pressure that's of a previous era. Now, countries are expected to work multilaterally, work through persuasion.
Whether this tact will prove successful is being put to the test in Honduras, where the outcome is far from assured. Michael Bowman, VOA News, Washington.